Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth Lord in all houses. The fourth Lord of your chart is known as the Lord of Happiness, the Lord of Bliss. His name is Sukesha. What is he doing in your chart? Is he benefiting you or not? I have all the details on the video. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. And if the video is good for you, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. Firstly, everybody who are the house lords in Vedic astrology, you should understand that many signs have more than one lord, and you will need to check both to understand your destiny from that house. Secondly, we are using sign for a house system where a whole rasi or sign is contained in each house. This is most important. If you should attempt to use an equal house system, it just won't give you the correct result. The Lord of Aries is Mars, of Taurus it's Venus and the Moon. For Gemini it's Mercury, for Cancer the Moon, for Leo the Sun, and for Virgo it's Mercury and Rahu. For Libra, the Lord is Venus. For Scorpio, it's Mars and Ketu. For Sagittarius, Jupiter. For Capricorn, Saturn. For Aquarius, Saturn and Rahu. And for Pisces, Jupiter and Ketu. Another important understanding is how do you judge the results of any house in your chart? Strongest indication are given by the planets in the house. First and foremost, check the videos on my channel showing you results of planets in houses in your chart. The next most powerful factor are the aspects to the house, especially when there are no planets in the house. Planets aspecting by sign and site, that planet will give you the result of the house. And finally, it's the Lord of the house, the Bhavesha, what I'm discussing in this series, that will give you the result of the house. Don't forget, all three have to be considered equally in this order of importance. But for those who have rarely no planets in the house nor any aspect, the Bhavesha gives you the total story. So the Lord of your fourth house is known as Sukesha. Beautiful word. Sukha means bliss and happiness, and Sukesha is the Lord of your bliss. He rules the fourth house, which is the house of home, mother, vehicles, all the luxuries of your home and property itself. It's where you feel secure, where you can truly be yourself. The fourth house also rules your conscious mind, and your conscious mind is changed by one thing, your education. So learning itself is coming from the fourth house. But Sukesha at a different level is going to show us where we get that heartfelt happiness. The fourth house is our heart, what makes us truly satisfied, truly satiated and at peace in life. So all of the goodies in life, all of the clothes and the cars and the vehicles, yes, comforts of the home, but also the deepest knowledge that makes you truly satisfied, gives you that true feeling of, aha, now I understand. This comes from the fourth house. Fourth house, of course, is the house of the womb and of the mother. Our relationship with our mother is shown by this house, and the Sukesha, according to its placement, has so much to tell us about our relationship with our parents, specifically with our mother. Our country of birth is also represented by Sukesha and by the fourth house. So where Sukesha finds himself has everything to do with how comfortable we are in our very place of birth. One thing to know, though, is wherever Sukesha goes, he will increase the factors of that house. He will bring you more of those things. Finally, whatever planet, whatever graha is Sukesha, he will always benefit you. Even if he is malefic like Mars, Shani, Rahu, he will still bring you benefit because he wants to bring you happiness. He wants to bring you the bliss of this life. That is his purpose, to keep you here in this world. You have to feel some happiness, and that is the responsibility of Sukesha. Now, a very special technique for you, everybody. I hope you will find this interesting. We're going to judge some important factors from the position of Sukesha in your chart. We're looking at the 2nd, 6th, 8th, and 12th houses in your chart from the placement of your fourth house lord. So find your fourth house lord, Sukesha, and from him count the 2nd, 6th, 8th, and 12th houses. Look at those carefully. They are challenging houses for the Sukesha. And here's what we can find out. First thing, if your ascendant, your Lagna, is in the 2nd, 6th, 8th, or 12th from your fourth house lord, you are very likely to leave your place of birth early in life. Sometimes you don't even ever go back. Generally speaking, you are probably better off some distance away from your place of birth if you have this. Now, Sukesha rules property, as you all know, but specifically Mars and Ketu are connected to that as well. Mars rules just houses generally, but Ketu specifically rules flats, apartments, and townhouses. So, if you have either Mars or Ketu in these houses from the Sukesha, then you may lose property at some point in your life. Now, that may not be a very serious thing, or it may be depending on other factors in your chart, but it's good to know about that so that you can actually plan for it. This is where astrology can be helpful. Sukesha 4th house rules education, and if Jupiter should be in the 2nd, 6th, 8th and 12th from this 4th lord, you may have a break in your education. It doesn't mean that you don't get success, highest honors, etc., but there will be some definite breaks, some years where you are not getting that success in your education. Finally, when the moon, which is mother, is in the 2nd, 6th, 8th, 12th, from Sukesha, there is some lack of nourishment you have experienced from the mother. Now, nourishment is not food here. Nourishment is emotional nourishment and care. Or the care was available from the mother, but you weren't able to accept it. So there is some blockage going on there. What do you have to do? You definitely have to nourish yourself and have a lot of self-care, or it can impact on your relationships. How to use the readings for best effect. First of all, read from your birth chart, D1 chart, 4th lord there, Sukesha, and see how he is placed. But also from the moon sign, because if you do not have accurate time of birth, even ascendant may not be right. So moon chart, 4th lord, is also important. Two things are very important though. You must have a sign for a house or Rasi chart. Do not use Bhava Chalat. Do not use any Western unequal house division. Secondly, you must also have sidereal zodiac, fixed Vedic zodiac. Do not use tropical zodiac. Just brings in confusion. Can you read from your D9? You can do, but it's controversial. Here's the thing. You can look at Sukesha in your D1, in your D9, read for that. You can see Sukesha in the D9 Navamsa, in the Navamsa itself. These can be useful, but don't forget, Navamsa has specific application and specific context. So when the lord of your 4th house, your Sukesha, has gone into the 1st house of your chart, this is a very favorable position. It can be very good for your education, good for your learning. Of course, if this 4th lord is with malefics in this house opposing, there can be delays in your education, but long term, it's generally very good. It's good for your relationship with your mother. Now, you may say, oh my goodness, that's not me. We had difficult relationship, probably because there are malefics with the 4th lord in this 1st house or aspecting. That can make maternal relationship difficult, but still, mother is giving you her blessings. That's the most important factor. Your 4th house lord is lord of happiness, but he's also lord of your heart. He's in the 1st house, so your heart is very, very good in this sense that you have good qualities. You can be virtuous. By virtuous, I mean charitable, giving, caring, and sharing with your landed properties. You bring other people into your home. You're a very convivial, very sociable person normally. 4th lord of learning in the 1st house means you like to learn about health, because the 1st house is about the health of your body. You're very much into learning about remedies, all sorts of maybe alternate remedies or conventional remedies, and you've definitely got a well-stocked medical cabinet if you have the 4th lord in the 1st house. Generally speaking, the 4th lord, Sukesha, in the 1st house gives you a strong identity with your country of origin, with your place of birth. It means a lot to you. It actually forms your whole identity more than maybe even most people. And you don't want to cut links to that. You may live abroad by many other factors, but you still have that strong link to your culture and to your place of birth. Lord of the 4th in the 1st means that you want to own property. You will definitely climb up the ladder from the very lowest rung to the top. Very often it's very good for the wealth of land and property in your life. When the Sukeisha, Lord of your fourth house, has gone to the second house, it's going to help you financially. No matter what difficulties, you will grow financially. Even from the poorest position, you will have luck in your finances. If the Sukeisha should be with other malefics, not if he is malefic, because Sukeisha is always favorable, as I've just said. But if there is other malefic affliction, there can be difficulty getting all of these blessings. But nonetheless, finances generally grow for you. The reason is that the Sukeisha fourth lord has traveled 11 houses to the second house. So this is a gain for you. 11 houses means gain. Another factor is that it actually makes you very restless indeed. People with the fourth lord second house are extremely adventurous people. By this I mean you just love to explore new places. Just pack a bag and take yourself off to some new country, or even just town, city, explore the countryside. Whatever it is, you love exploring. It gives you a real feeling of freedom and happiness. Now, both the fourth house and the second are actually linked to nourishment, to food. So it's not surprising to find many people who like to cook, who like to bake, and who make money actually by this, to have this placement. A difficult early childhood, though, can be shown when this fourth lord has gone to the second house with malefics aspecting or strongly conjuncting. This can show a real struggle in your formative years, a very insecure beginning in life, and many difficulties even bonding with your mother sometimes. Parashara talks about the cleverness of someone with this fourth lord second house, because your learning is actually going to finding solutions to intractable problems, monetary problems, maybe family difficulty, family contention. You find a solution. Sometimes solution is to get far away from your family, occasionally also. But one thing is for sure, you find a solution to many situations in your life that would have other people in a really sticky situation. You come out of it because you have these ingenious and clever ideas. The Sukeisha has gone to the third house of your chart. It gives you tremendous courage. You're extremely honorable person. This is a very chivalrous position where you always want to act in a really principled manner. It's the actual house of sexual intercourse, so we can just say that you can have many sexual relationships, or you can be a very sexually orientated person. It's important to you also that people think well of you. You want to have a good reputation in the world, and this increases your desire to be seen as an honourable person. Fourth lord gone into the house of siblings. There can be many siblings, even half siblings, all sorts of karmas connecting you to your siblings in this life. Depends what the aspects are to the fourth lord in this house, how it's actually going to go. Sometimes you even live near to your siblings, and connections with them are extremely important to you. Third house shows your fighting potential, your efforts in life, your bravery. So fourth lord going in here shows that you need to fight for your home. You can literally build your own home with your own hands. You may have contentions with your neighbours, though, if there are malefics with this fourth lord in this third house. You may move very, very often sometimes, especially once again when there are malefics with the fourth lord in this house. Fourth lord here can be good for your health, because 4 houses away is what supports you. So you get good support when you get sick. You know how to take care of yourself when you get sick, and whoever is your fourth lord placed in this third house, you generally have good health and strong vitality by this position. But you're certainly a fighter in life. You see, fourth lord gets pleasure from the third house factors here. Happiness by contention. Happiness by taking up weapons. You can be a legal person, lawyer, fighter, disputer, someone concerned with personal wrongs and rights, but also other people's rights. So you like to fight for the good cause with this fourth lord in your third house, and it can make you very argumentative, though. So watch if there is affliction. That's something to be aware of, and these arguments can come into your home quite frequently. Finally, you get good support from your co-workers, because the 6th house is 4 houses away from this third house. So whenever you are stuck, turn to your co-workers, turn to your servants, people who you employ. They have your good at heart, and your pets are very fortunate for you. When the fourth Lord Sukesha is in his own home, in this fourth house, it's very beneficial for your material existence, for your happiness in life. No matter who he is, Shani, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, if he's in this own home here, he can give you material prosperity. He can give you buildings, homes, cars, luxuries, all the joys of a domestic life, which is as you would like it to be. The support you get from Sukesha is shown by the fourth house away from the placement. In this case, that is the seventh house. So you can expect that you will get good support from your spouse generally with this position. Public figures are definitely benefited by fourth Lord, fourth house. You get fame, you get honor in your own country, and you definitely become recognized as a very worthy person very often with this position. It's generally good for your relationship with your mother. A very strong bond with her definitely shown, which will be beneficial. But there are some exceptions. Check what I've already said at the beginning of the video about special technique, looking at the moon's position from this Sukesha. But generally speaking, fourth Lord, fourth house binds you closely to your mother. You can work in property dealings, make a massive amount of wealth from properties and home sales actually. But you need support of other benefics also to make this happen. Either way though, your home is a place which you make your special signature there, and it's normally a happy and prosperous home. To have fourth Lord in the fourth house though is such a benefic factor because it's as though you've got a special bodyguard outside of your house, this invisible personal bodyguard protecting you. But it's not only protecting fourth house. Sukesha here is actually guarding all the Kendras in the chart. He's guarding your spouse, your reputation, your status. No matter how choppy these areas become by other factors in the chart, Sukesha is protecting. And he's protecting your very body itself and your health. It's an extremely auspicious position. When the fourth house Lord, Sukesha, has gone into the fifth house of your chart, it's a favorable position. It's actually a Raj Yoga because the Lord of the Kendra has gone into a Trikona house. Fourth Lord here can give you even many love affairs because this is a house of love affairs. But you're a very popular person with this fourth Lord, fifth house. People see you as a caring and honorable person. Here's the thing, you can have many children, many students, many followers also. You normally get an excellent reputation with this Sukesha in this fifth house. As I say, it's a very strong Raj Yoga. It's very good for your education, but it doesn't always take you to the highest education. It just means that you value knowledge. Wherever you find it, even if it's not academic knowledge, you value it and you treasure it. It becomes something very, very close to your heart. You're definitely quite a supportive person of other people, particularly children, younger people, etc. But who is supporting you? That is shown by the fourth house from here, which is the eighth house. You are supported by people who take eighth house professions like doctors, surgeons, psychotherapists, even astrologers. You've got a strong interest in occult knowledge, and this can actually earn wealth for you and increase your reputation. But you like to go to these secret areas to actually get support. Sometimes people don't know who is supporting you. You're extremely secret about how you find these people in your life. So you may see an astrologer but tell nobody about it. You may see doctors, psychiatrists, helpers like this, but be extremely secretive about this. Very attracted also to people who actually have this deep secret knowledge sometimes, like psychiatrists, occultists, astrologers, even doctors, because this powerful knowledge attracts you tremendously. A special blessing of this Raj Yoga though is that any wealth which you get, any property which you own, you increase it over your life. You maintain it and it becomes more valuable over your lifespan. So wealth is generally increasing by this position. And finally, you're not adverse to taking risks in life. Fourth Lord Sukesha in this fifth house makes you like to do risky ventures. Sometimes they can pay off marvelously, but if there is affliction to Sukesha here, you should have some caution also. When the Lord of your fourth house, Sukesha, has gone into the sixth house, there can be some early life problems for yourself. It's quite a deep karmic factor. There can be difficulties with your mother, gaining understanding with your mother. There is conflict and difficulty between you in some way, depending, of course, on the Lord itself and the condition of the house, the sixth house. Mother may have been going through some difficult circumstances when she actually gave birth to you, and this has impacted factors in your early childhood experience. But you have an enormous respect for your mother, and it's very important to try to find harmony between you. What's often seen is that you have quite a competitive nature, and you definitely are seen as a competitor by other people. For some reason, you always get yourself into argumentative or fighting type situations. Again, the actual Lord can actually make a difference to this, especially a malefic Lord of this fourth house gone into this sixth house. That can be the case. What happens is you attract competitors even if you're not looking for them. And if you really think about it, you act at your utmost best when there is some sort of crisis or situation where you have to basically fight to make things right. There's a very strong communication power given to you by this fourth Lord, sixth house, but you have to use it ethically because you can get almost mystical potency by this position. What I mean is that you have the ability to make a difference, to transform other people's lives in some way. So a lot of powerful and healing energy even is in this fourth Lord position, sixth house. But please remember that who is supporting you is shown by the 4 houses away. The Guru is supporting you. Your deep religious belief is supporting you, and your father also. The 9th house of foreign land being fourth away means that foreign travel is transformative for you. Foreign philosophies, religious beliefs, all of these come into your consciousness and are helpful. Sukesha going 3 houses away shows sometimes many changes of living space, or you just change suddenly. You just all of a sudden decide, I'm not going to live here anymore, and you up and go. One thing about Sukesha going into this difficult, challenging 6th house is that you can become angry easily. You have to continually take away this irritation from your mind. It can just rise up out of nowhere. You have to have meditation, cleansing, spiritual routines, if you like, which can contain this difficult energy. And in your workplace, it's always best to keep a low profile. If you do low profile, don't get yourself into contentious situations. Work and your whole life, in fact, will be much more smoother and harmonious. When the Sukesha, the 4th Lord, has gone into your 7th house, you're a really independent person because a Kendra has gone into a Kendra and you're listening to nobody, especially you're not listening to your mother. Of course, you may be respectful to your mother, but you go your own way. You feel it necessary to go outside of the boundaries. You really want to do things your way in almost every department of your life. Now, because the 4th house away from Sukesha becomes the 10th house, your career supports you. You are happy when you are at work, when you are promoting yourself in your chosen career. This is where you get support, where you feel valued. This is what makes you happy in life, your working life and your public life. The 4th house, Lord of Learning, gone in a Kendra position into the 7th house. It's very good for your education. Unless there is real affliction to this Sukesha in this house, you will get highest honors. You enjoy learning and it is always profitable for you. You totally value it. Sukesha in the 7th position, as I said, makes you very independent. You want to earn your own way in life. Although you value your family background, you still want to be independent of it, making your own way in the world. This can make you very popular, Sukesha 7th house. You can have lots of relationships even, but spousal relationship is normally harmonious and good unless there is severe affliction. And you are generally getting on well with a great deal of people and become quite known in your own social circle. But you're not that extrovert when it comes to the way you speak to people. It's a bit of a contradictory factor, 4th Lord, 7th house, because you keep many thoughts to yourself and you don't like to be a very extrovert personality when you are speaking to larger groups of people. You can be very matter of fact in your public speaking if you should have to do that. You are not that expressive with larger groups. You can only really truly be yourself in a one-to-one intimate situation. If you should be any sort of business person, fourth Lord, seventh house opens marvelous marketplace opportunities for you and simply aids you in all business success. Having the fourth house Lord going into the eighth house is quite an interesting position. Don't be afraid of this, but it does actually give you some difficulty in your early home. Sometimes you do not return to the place of your birth, and it's not favorable for you to do so sometimes. It's like a whole new beginning comes to you in a place far away from your place of birth. There is some factor about your parents' relationship that has not nourished you in some way. There kind of been quarrels, difficulty, incompatibility between the parents. So many factors. You would have to see fourth Lord, ninth Lord to have all the detail. But your Sukesha going into this eighth house means that something in your early home environment was not nourishing to you. The fourth Lord going 5 houses away in this way can sometimes impact children in that one child is a little bit secret in some way. Sometimes there can be illegitimate or lost children to yourself, maybe miscarriage or some such thing occasionally, but so much else you have to see, primarily, of course, fifth house Lord. But you can be quite secretive about your children, though, in general. You don't like other people prying into your children's business. You're not trying to make children a source of your expression. You are completely independent of that. Your parents' relationship, once again, coming back to this, has definitely impacted on you psychically. Sometimes there can be a very difficult, messy divorce between parents, or there is some difficulty parents being together, and this affects how you approach relationships. Now, the fourth Lord going into the eighth house can have an impact on relationships. Simply put, you can be asexual or celibate, just not interested in normative relationships generally, or you can have different sexualities. Either way, you are somewhat outside of the norm, and you can have situations developing in relationships like affairs happening, or there can be sudden loss of interest in a relationship due to changing circumstance. Of course, the seventh Lord and the seventh house itself give you the most intimate understanding of your partner and relationship. But one thing we can say, that Sukesha 8th house, 4 houses away, is the 11th house. Your support is coming from your friendship circles, network circles. Social groups are very important to you. Your whole identity is actually coming from these social network circles. The fourth Lord, Sukesha, has gone 5 houses away to the 9th house. It's a Raj Yoga again, because Kendra Lord has gone into a Trikona house. Your happiness in life ruled by Sukesha is coming from the 9th house, from philosophy, from religious systems. It gives a deep devotion to God or to some philosophical belief system. This can become your heart and soul. Fourth Lord here shows that happiness and success comes through learning. You love to learn. Higher education, everything to do with gaining mundane and spiritual knowledge is really good. You get your best happiness in life when you feel informed, but your deepest information comes from your deep relationship with God. Taking up meditation, spiritual practices, going on pilgrimage, all these things are highly favored and give you a lot of happiness in life when you have the fourth Lord in the 9th house. Fourth house Lord has gone 6 houses to this 9th house, so the early home environment could have had suffering sometimes, or early life was just not nourishing to you. The bond with the mother was definitely compromised in some way, and foreign lands support you. Far distant lands, 4 houses from this 9th house, give you support. Foreigners or people from completely different cultures are very often fortunate for you. Often a very important teacher, guru, educator comes into your life and has a profound influence on you. Even father's extended family can be helpful to you, because 4 houses away is the actual house of the paternal grandmother. You're a very charitable and giving person with this position, once again, because 4 houses is the 12th house of charity. This is This is what supports you. The more you give in life, the more you will get. And in your intimate relationships, 7th house, this is 11 houses away from the Sukeisha. So you give a lot to your spouse. You want to make spouse comfortable, and it can actually give you a good spousal bond because of this. When your Sukeisha, the Lord of your 4th house, has gone to the 10th house of your chart, Parashara talks that you will get royal honor, the honor of the king. What does this mean? In everyday life, it means that superiors support you, the boss supports you. But here's the thing, you have to please them. Having support of superiors is essential to your career success. You can't get the honor, you can't get the advancement without other people supporting you. That is shown. But you put 100% into your job because your happiness, your feeling of where your heart is from this Sukeisha has gone into your job. So your career has to be wholehearted. You can't do any job that your whole heart is not in. But when you find that career, when you find that wholehearted commitment, wow, you love to get up to go to work. You can't wait to get to the office. You can't wait to do your job. Whatever it is, whatever profession, if your heart is there, you are truly happy. Sukeisha is home comforts, and going into the 10th house, you tend to make your work environment like a home to you. It's your home from home, truly. You like to make it truly homely. You like to make it somewhere where you feel personal and relaxed in. This is essential to you. If you cannot have a personalized workspace, you cannot be happy. Now, one factor I've seen with this position, actually checking this in many charts, is that because mother has gone into the 7th house from herself, as it were, she's gone into the house which is second to the father. Father is 9th, and second is Marika to the father. So 2 scenarios I've generally seen happen. First of all, there can be separation between parents before you are even born, or it can happen afterwards. This is a very common factor. Now, let me know if it's not so, because it is generally seen. This difficulty then, this parental split, often throws you back on yourself, because the 4th house from this Sukeisha 10th house is the house of self. So you have to be independent. You have to support yourself. Find your own nourishment and independence within. And this can give you a great deal of courage in life. But on an inner level, because from the Sukeisha 10th house, 11 houses is the 8th house, you get support from the secret knowledge, definitely, from the occult, from the Jyotish, from the astrology. All of these magical even factors of life, these hidden secrets, this deep knowledge is what gives you the truest nourishment in life. Now, Sage Parashara talks about Sukeisha in his 10th house as being an alchemist. Alchemy is finding gold from base metal. It's a deep occult factor of the medieval time, particularly. What it means, though, in modern day is that you're interested in cures. You're interested in the transformational factor of medicine. You may even work in this field, some of you. It can also be psychology, psychiatry, all of these things which interest you also. And you like to keep a lot of cures, if you like, in your own home. You can have a whole stock of medical interventions, if you like, in your home, because you're very, very interested in what makes the body whole and what makes the mind whole. You want to give cures to other people. You want to support other people with your deep and intimate spiritual knowledge coming from this 8th house, influencing this Sukeisha. Finally, you may have obsessive tendencies about 2nd house matters because of the 5th house away from this Sukeisha. This means that you put a lot of emphasis on your bank balance. You're really concerned with your financial situation. This can even make you feel a bit insecure sometimes. And definitely, though, you can pile up a lot of savings, and this can be something which you enjoy to do. 2nd house is about food as well. You can get a bit obsessive about food as well. Sometimes even having eating disorder problems can be seen. Surukesha has gone into the 11th house of your chart. First thing to know is he's gone 8 houses away from his own position. So this means that you're always having changes in your home situation, changes in your home life. Sometimes you are really happy there, and sometimes you just have to uproot yourself completely to find happiness domestically. Apart from that factor, this Surukesha 11th house makes you an extremely liberal person. You're kind-hearted to everybody. You want to live your life, and you're happy when everybody else is minding their own business, living theirs. You're not moralizing over any person's action. You literally live and let live. This is a very charitable position for the Surukesha. You want to help others, you're extremely humanitarian, and this charity work is very important for your overall karma. Now, as I say, 4th house Lord Surukesha expands the house, so you're expanding auras into new network circles. You're always meeting new friends, new associates. You're just a little bit all over the place sometimes. It's hard to know where your focus actually is. You're highly sexual by this position of the 4th Lord, 11th house, and you're very attracted to other people. You can have many relationships. It can actually unsettle relationships by this position. Because Surukesha is looking at the 5th house of children, children are very important to you. They can become one of the main factors of your life, the main constant, if you like. You put a lot of attention onto them, and they are totally center of your world sometimes. Also, you are a very broad-minded, kind person, a very open-hearted person. You generally want to help other people. That's a very essential part of who you are. Surukesha has gone to the 12th house of your chart. Early on in life, you can have disturbance to your home environment, to your domestic comfort. You are simply lifted out of it, taken to some foreign shores. That can actually happen, but mostly it's that there is some disturbance, some loss in that early home environment. Now, Surukesha is the lord of your happiness and gone into the house of foreign lands. It goes without saying that very often living in a foreign land is fortunate for you, or simply living far away from your place of birth. That's the most important factor. Surukesha rules vehicles as well, so buying cars which are foreign, not made in your own place of birth, is also more fortunate for you. And also buying property far away from your place of birth, property is much more profitable for you. Of course, Surukesha shows what gives you happiness. It's the 12th house that gives you happiness. Being alone, being in meditation, contemplating deep spiritual wisdoms. Your deep relationship with God is heartfelt. You don't even need formalized religious system to have this. Watch out, because on a negative level, 4th Lord going into this 12th house can make you a bit lazy, a bit escapist as well. You just want to get away from the mundane realities of life. This is a house of the bed. You love to lie on your bed. In other words, you like to relax, and you can actually not get things done that need doing. This can make you very self-critical at times. The 12th house rules large organizations such as schools, hospitals, prisons, and you like to even work in these large institutions because you like that feeling of protection. And also because they are often about helping people in need, giving to others. And this, again, being the house of charity, is something which makes you extremely happy, makes your life worthwhile. The 4th Lord is in the 12th house, which rules larger animals, but he's looking at the 6th house, which is about pets and small domestic beings. So you love to be around animals, and you're especially happy with your pets. They give you a real feeling of joy and bonding in life. Check out the other videos on your screen right now for the Lords through all houses. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.